you. Thank you very much. I'm really delighted to be with you today and have the opportunity to discuss a very, very exciting growth opportunity for Sage, which is the upper mid-market. But before we enter this session, perhaps we should discuss what we are talking about, a bit of definitions. Usually we have that presented under a pyramid form, and for a long time we need to recognize that our industry, software industry, has not acknowledged the fact that there was something between large account and small business. I don't know if you noticed, but mid-market was defined as, it's not like large account, it's really not like small business. But at the end of the day, there was not a full definition of the needs of these customers. Over time, we've seen small business going up with new functionalities going in the different products. And we still have one segment which has been acknowledged, I would say, a couple of 3 years ago, really, and this is the upper mid-market. What makes it different? What makes it different is that the needs of these companies, you know, the 500 employee plus companies, are complex, even though they don't have the money and the ability to attract the right talents and skills to really deliver what the large companies are able to do. This is what makes them different from the large companies. At the same time, what makes them different from the lower mid-market side is the fact that they are international in nature. Just give you a couple of statistics. In Europe, companies, 85% of companies with more than 500 employees are operating in several countries. They are international, 85% of these companies. In North America, in US market, even though it's a big domestic market, this statistic only drops to 60%. So what happens is that when you go and try to serve this specific segment, you need to be international. This is what makes it very different from the lower end of the pyramid. So having said that, what sets Sage apart? That's our DNA. That's the customer value, always focusing on the customer value. What does it mean for upper mid-market segment? It means that if the company have to manage complex processes, they need to have a huge breadth in terms of functionalities available, but they also need to have the right depth, because the complexity that you bring with a solution is built by too deep functionalities. Too deep functionalities are in the softwares to try to sort out issues that only large companies have. And so our objective is to make sure that we develop the right depth of functionality and bring customer value. Second thing is simplicity. Simplicity is three things, basically. Simple to implement, simple to run, and perhaps most importantly, simple to use. What makes a big difference in this market is the actual usage of the functionalities by your users. Must be or could look as being silly to say that. But the truth is that the statistics are, and the studies are very clear on that. Less than 40% of the functionalities that have been actually implemented in mid-market companies are used by the users. Can you imagine that? You are a CEO, you have made decisions to implement an ERP, you have designed your ERP, you have put a lot of money on the table to get that, and your user only use 40% of your strategic intent? This is an issue. So simply to use is absolutely critical. The last thing is pragmatism, is use the right technology to really circle back to the customer value. Use it when it makes sense, not for the sake of it. Over 30 years of history, ERP has always tried to do one thing: lower the transaction cost. Lower, streamline, secure transaction costs like order entry management, shipping management, purchasing, you name it. accounting, of course, you name it. And the truth is that ERP has succeeded doing it over the past 30 years. And this transaction cost has dropped significantly, as well as been secured significantly over time. Oops. 15 years ago, the networks have been faster, easier to connect, and more affordable. And this has opened a new dream for the companies, which was, can I better work? Can I streamline my processes outside of my company? This was the first element of what we called at that moment ERP2, with supply chain management, product life management, working with partners and suppliers, CRM, working with customers, and making sure that we could begin to leverage what web was at that moment. The objective was still lowering transaction cost, but opening extended enterprise approach. Where are we now? We are now with new technologies. We are now able with the Web 2.0 to go beyond only lowering the cost. We can go to have better collaboration within and outside of the companies. This is, of course, going with the cloud. This is coming with architecture like SOA, but also we are now at a point where, even though we are continuing to streamline our processes, we want to get more advantage of what we've got with the ERP. Transforming the data we have in the ERP into pieces of information that will make our decision faster and better. This is where we are today. I will read that for those of you who can't read it from the back. It's a statement from a quote from Gartner saying, an ERP strategy must be more end-user-centric than before to maximize the benefit achieved from investment in ERP. What does it mean? It means that now the name of the game is no longer to discuss about should I go ERP or shouldn't I go? If you don't go ERP today, you know that you will not be competitive on your marketplace. You need to go there. The question is, can I make money out of this investment? Can I have a chance to get my money back from what I've done? And the only way to do that is to make sure that the users are using it. That's a very important statement. This is changing the name of the game, and this is very specifically true for mid-market companies not having deep enough pockets to handle huge, long, and costly projects.